Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? I'm doing my podcast on this Monday, July 8th, 2024. How are you all doing? How was your holiday weekend? Did you come back yet? You're still vacationing out in Bahamas? I mean Hamptons, right? I didn't go anywhere, for the obvious reasons, right? Um, Once again, I have to say thanks to everyone, my wife, my sisters, brother-in-law, all my friends for good wishes, etc. My ex-colleagues, I had a lunch with them on Saturday. It was a little early. They were talking about, hey, let's meet up at 12:30 on Saturday for lunch. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's too early for me. All right. But we did meet up, and these are the guys actually I had in my first job in this country. Can you believe this? I'm talking about 2002, 2006, between 2002 and 2006, when I was working in Westchester for this company, right? We are still in touch. All right. It was good to see them. Everybody's getting old, and obviously, uh, given my wife's situation, I mean, her visa, the interview, etc. We're waiting for, right? Everybody wants to see me with my wife, right? Here in this country. This is our home, and she's not here, you know, thanks to the immigration, right? Um, and then so what happens was that I'm driving out there, right? And my wife is on the phone with me. And it was so fucking hot actually on Saturday, right? Saturday was the worst, all right? And it was like an hour drive out to Somerset, New Jersey, right? That's where we went to that tavern, and I see that my Jeep's gauge, the temperature gauge, is moving towards the right, towards the you know high temperature. And I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm getting worked up, right? I'm not even there, and I'm like, am I gonna get stuck there? Is gonna just like uh freeze, I mean, the engine or some shit, right? I got lucky, I got back, okay. And then yesterday, same shit. And today it got even worse, even worse. And I took it to the goddamn mechanic, right? The same mechanic who actually fixed it last time. Remember, I had that same issue, but uh, yesterday, I went out to get some breakfast, right? To get some breakfast, and then it started happening. I'm like, let me check the coolant. And so I bought the coolant. I stopped by at one of the gas stations Bayonne here, right? And then I filled the coolant tank with the coolant. It was at low, like really low. I'm like, oh, maybe is that's the reason, right? No. The guy at the gas station, he was nice, he helped me, do all that, but it's still there. And yesterday and today, actually, I drove up to my office, and while I was driving out to my office, obviously the gate showed, and then I told my engineers, "Hey guys, listen, I need to drop off this car at the mechanic." So I went to the same mechanic while I was driving, right? So the goddamn gauge, right? It goes all the way to the right, and then it starts beeping, and then something happened, and I think the thermostat basically got shot or something, And then the gauge all of a sudden moved all the way to the goddamn left, you know. So there's no leak, but I have no freaking idea what this is this time. It could be the pump. All right. Without turning my podcast into, saga of my car's, heating problem, right? And it was hot. It was fucking hot when I got out of the car, right, on Saturday to walk to the restaurant. It was like hazy, humid, and oh my freaking God, I could feel the temperature. And I was in text with my friends. Actually, a friend of mine is down in Dallas, and they were telling me about the hurricane that's coming up, right? Has that actually hit Houston? Because I think it was supposed to hit Houston, right? They were telling me. What are the hurricanes? Uh, well, listen, congratulations. Now we are in the hurricane season, right? I feel bad for the Floridians and everybody down there. Houston Hurricane Barrel. Barrel, that's the name, Barrel. So barrel means that it's the second hurricane. Is that what it is? Because it starts with the letter B. Tropical storm barrel. All right. Okay. So it has become a tropical storm. There you go. All right. It's the second goddamn hurricane in the season. All right. So hope things are not as bad as they were actually expecting. I think it's just a tropical storm. We're gonna feel some rain up here in a few days, I think. Remnants, probably. And hopefully nothing like Sandy happens this year, because that's a fucking disaster, you know. All right, everyone. So yeah, that's the that's my like long weekend saga, right? And I was supposed to go out with my sisters and my brother-in-law to the golf course just to chip and putt, right? And I couldn't drive down there, out there, We were supposed to meet in Clark. I couldn't meet out there. And that kind of sucked, but I did some cooking for them, cooked some goat, while my wife was on the phone. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks that, I'm still like half crippled. No, I shouldn't say that, but the pain situation is still there, the sciatica is still there, and I just have to wait and be patient. Suck it up, sir. Uh, And my wife was telling me that one of my brother-in-laws, he does like heavy work, he works at a wood shop, so he does some heavy lifting, and she was telling me that he got the same problem. He's a little younger than me, but I wish him the best of luck. Sciatica is not that. It's not fun, man. The fucking nerve pain is not fun. All right, everyone. Let's start with a positive note. What's the positive note, sir? Well, you gotta stay positive. That's the note, right? Because all this is part of life. All right. In the grand scheme of things, there are ups and downs in life that everybody deals with. All right. There's no such thing as a utopia or a straight line of like continuous happiness all through the years. All right. And on top of that, I say this many times that the body, the alien artifact, is one of the most fragile uh, biological machines compared to even like these other like big animals, right? Like the predators, their bodies are obviously much more uh or what do you call stronger, and the bones are stronger, right? Yeah, they still have to do hunting. Uh, I don't know. I mean, we don't need to hunt, right, in this day and age, but we still need stronger bodies. I mean, aren't they actually doing something for aging, as in prolong the human life? Is that what it is? Human age? Why would you want to do that to begin? Unless you give me some sort of a potion, right? Or some sort of medicine that actually I have to take every day with no fucking side effects. And that actually just is keeping my body in that shape, and it's not basically letting the cell degenerate, including my brain cells, right? Then that's a different story, all right? Which I don't think we have that at this point in time in our human, existence on this fucking planet, right? Maybe that will happen down the road, but I don't want to live beyond like, you know, 80 years old. Why the fuck would I want to do that? I don't want to be burdened on other people either, you know. Like this when this thing started happening, because I was trying to figure out what the fuck this was going on, and I was getting angry, and then, it was affecting my relationship with my wife, and I was getting angry at her when she was like, trying to be there. And then sometimes she would ask me, oh, can you turn on the phone this way? I can't see you, obviously for the sake of love, right? She misses me and I miss her. And then I'll be like, I'll be just angry because I couldn't even fucking move my fucking leg. And part of the reason I think was, well, it was, although it was few weeks into this, but I was kind of like first not accepting this whole thing, right? And then I didn't know what the fuck it was, and then I couldn't deal with it, you know. Um, this is like a fucking ghost sort of a, pain, right? Pain, ghost pain, sciatica. So now I think I'm a little more accepting that, hey man, listen, this is something that 10% of Americans deal with. I have no fucking idea. I mean, I'm just saying, all right? And I talk to other people who actually gone through this, and I think, well, first the pain, and then the acceptance, right? And suck it up, and then do whatever you need to do. You're doing everything you are. Just don't be angry and all that, right? And I was just trying to figure out, and at some point in time, I mean, I think I guess I just got worked up so bad. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to deal with this? I mean, I didn't get into a fucking car accident. Is it the fucking bad swings in the golf? Whatever. Doesn't matter, right? At this point in time, because it's a fucking disc problem. So now I have to basically deal with it, suck it up. So given all these issues and the fact that we age, our body has a limited you know, lifespan in our cells. It's not like you're gonna live forever. It's not like a fucking self-generating whatever perpetual machine that produces energy and then it just keeps on going forever. It's not like that. We have to accept these things. And I'm hard-headed, impatient to begin with, and it just not easy for me, you know. All right, let's change the gears. What's new? Okay, so in terms of movies, I don't know. I mean, there are no movies. There's no new fucking movies. I was looking up. Apparently, okay, well, there is a couple of movies which are coming up. I think there's a Terminator offshoot movies coming up. There is the Furiosa, right? I saw that one. That's a fucking amazing movie, amazing graphics, right? Mad Max offshoot, and and a couple of other movies this year, everyone. Because I'm, like I can't sleep early, so all I have to do is to just watch something, then I'll get on the fucking phone, right? Look at the news or whatever, looking up articles. But what I'm not doing, which I'm glad I'm not, is not looking up every fucking article on sciatica. Because I'm like, man, you just have to accept it is what it is. Don't look up any further information. It's gonna it's gonna run you amok. It's gonna fucking drive you nuts. All right. So at least I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to distract myself as much as I can. All right. From this, because it's also psychological. You think about this. All right, everyone. Oh, the other thing, positive note, is that is per recommendation from my brother-in-law. He's a computer geek, obviously. He's a computer guy, not a geek. And then he's a video game geek. All right. I ordered this Nintendo Switch, right? It's like a refurbished one. Uh, and I had to set it up because I opened the box. My sister, who is here, right? She received it from Amazon. And I opened the box, and there are a lot of fucking moving parts in there. And I'm already worked up, and my wife is on the phone, right? Uh, and so I have to look up the instructions, how to download, I guess, because I want to play golf. So that's something that I have to download, I think, on my phone. Is that what it is? I don't know, because I've never used any of these Nintendo, Xbox, any of these. Yeah, I use Xbox on the computer, right, to play that, what do you call, the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I want to use this Nintendo Switch for which we call the uh, simulation, right? Not simulator. It's not a simulator. Okay, it's like a video game. You play golf, like real golf on TV. You hook it up with the TV, right? And then you have these what do you call, the controllers. You can basically use them as your golf club, and you swing. While you're sitting on the couch, you swing and you chip and putt and right. Use your number 7 iron or whatever the hell you want to use. Fairway wood. This is all I can play. I can play real golf. It sucks. All right. So yeah, I had to set it up, and also it sucks that I can't, go to fucking hiking and all that, right? I can barely walk. Um, all right. So on top of the fact that, my wife is not here, we haven't heard anything about her visa, right? Although we are trying other things, but nothing has come into fruition as yet, right? People promise us and this and that, and I appreciate that they're doing that and they're trying to help us, but I mean, we haven't really heard anything. And then this shit happens, right? But we're trying. Let's see what happens. All right, we're trying. Um, and am I sounding too fucking depressed? I actually I do sound depressed. I'm sorry, I apologize. But all right, let's cheer up for a second. Um, and I'm not in a hole where I can't even get up and and are bedstricken, right? Where I can't even go to work, which is so. I mean, I can't. The pain is there. It's just a freaking you know limited mobility, and that's what sucks. I'm not even talking about playing golf and all that. I'm talking about like going to groceries and I had I had to drop off the laundry and all that. So I need my wife here. I mean, the good thing is that, one of my sisters, she's here and at least she's here and, sometimes she does the cooking and dishes and all that, right? But I don't want to be burden on other people, but at the same time, I mean, this is when I need my wife, you know. Uh, I just have to, on a positive note, again, I just have to accept the facts and be patient, suck it up. All right, everyone. What's new? What's the other thing that's new? I mean, did I miss anything? Right, did I say anything that has offended anyone? Any other this is it's like everything is so sensitive these days. Oh my fucking God. 4th of July fireworks, by the way. I don't want to turn my podcast into like what happened over the fucking long weekend, right? But my I mean, I went to my sister's place and we went to Long Island City, but we couldn't see any goddamn fireworks because they were on Hudson, right? And then it started raining. We couldn't even get out of the fucking place because the traffic sucked. It just like a herd of sheep. Why the fuck do you want to get onto the promenade? Not promenade. What the hell it is, right? On the river. Where you can't see fireworks because they're on Hudson. It's just that people again act like a herd of sheep. Disaster. Oh yeah, you did the same thing, sir. Well, listen, I went because I didn't just show up there. All right. But anything else? I think this podcast is going to be really like it's like a slow. What do you call? It's going to be a slow pain. Is that what it is? Slow and painful. I don't know. I mean, on grand scheme of things, hopefully, and I have to say this that not hopefully, but like, hey, stay the course. You have to, live your life, you know, and are they going to invent some sort of a pill, right? And now I can feel the pain of, something like if you're going through some like physical pain, right, where they give you some sort of they invent some sort of a pill, right, or some sort of a potion or like a syrup, right, where it actually takes your mind off and you think about like life as normal, right? But that's a hard one to do because your mind is constantly uh, software of the brain, right? And the brain actually is connected to obviously your brain. Am I sounding the fucking obvious, right? I don't know. I have no fucking idea what I'm just babbling. All right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Without babbling too much, what did I talk about? I talked about nothing actually. I just ranted about my miserable condition. There is I don't fucking idea what I'm talking about, to be honest with you. But there is something I should talk about. Which what is that, sir? Are you gonna make up some topic or what? No. Oh yeah. So regardless of my condition, right? Regardless of my condition, and I wish you all, everybody out there who are going through like physical pain in their life. The topics near and dear to me are obviously, something like it's like science fiction and all that, right? Futuristic human um, civilizations, and not more of like post-apocalyptic, right? But some of these science fiction movies, as much as they show the disaster, right, that might happen in future, right, with us humans. But the biggest one, I think, which is really obvious, right, is the population decline. I mean, if I look at my own surroundings, none of us is having kids. I mean, my close friends, even my own family, except for my extended family in the mountains. In the Western world, nobody's having any kids, so this is going to even get worse. All right. So then what's the solution? I don't think there's any solution unless we start the cloning. No, not cloning, but even to clone, don't you need some sort of an ovary to to conceive a baby? Is that what it is? Or unless you can conceive a baby in a test tube, I have no fucking idea. I'm not an expert on that, but imagine that even like 200 years from now, even just 200 years from now, we could very well be extinct. Means our population. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a graph somebody is predicting, right, through statistics. And it's going to be like the reverse exponential, right? What is that term? Reverse exponential, parabolic, whatever the fuck it is, right? And and if the population on this planet right now is, let's say, 7.5 billion, is that what it is? I have no fucking idea. But 200 years from now, or let's say 300 years from now, what is it going to be? Is it going to be 100,000 people? And just imagine that with the decline of the population, right? So what's going to happen? Is that going to rise to something machines? But then if there are no humans going to be born, right? Then what's okay, so what the fuck is going to happen to all the industries? What's going to happen to all the fucking factories, and would we need all these Teslas, and would we need all these which may call iPhones, and is that going to be, I mean, this sounds like a total disaster to me that nobody's thought about. Like a nuclear, okay, I understand like a nuclear breakout, right? Yeah, maybe half of the population would fucking be extinct, right? Then half or maybe one third would still survive, right? And we have some sort of like model of how of what's going to happen, right? But with population decline, it's going to be like what is it going to be like? All of a sudden, all these factories are just having these robots, and everything is a robot. Is that what it's going to be? And then it's only one human, and the like one like 1,000 robots per human. Those robots are just basically running everything, including. But then those robots don't need fucking food, but then they probably needs like oil for like what, like for the motors, and like the friction oil, whatever the fuck it is, right? Mobile oil, grease, whatever the fuck it is, right? And then electricity. So that's a really bleak situation if you think about something like that, right? That 300 years from now we only are like 100,000 humans left, and then know that they are also going to be extinct within like, I don't know, 10 further years. That's really bleak. And then what? How about then another species from chimpanzees or, our ancestral tree, right? Then that actually they become some sort of more, what do you call it, advanced. Unless, okay, here's the thing. Unless we come up with some sort of an integrated human machine. I'm not talking about robots. I'm talking about like human machine, like software, sort of like without needing to have a body, and then all you need is that even doesn't make any fucking sense, right? So I have no idea. So that's going to be really, really, really bad, I think. I'm sorry to give you all this bad news, but this is something that very well might happen. All right. So what does that mean? Start producing kids? Fucking. Didn't Bill Maher actually? I was watching one of his like shows, like the real time Bill Maher. He was actually giving like sort of like advice to kids how to date and not be like fucking video game whatever, right? Or be out there and whatever, right? Have dates and be a man, whatever, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I mean, who knows? The numbers are not good unless these millennial not millennials. I think millennials are as worse as Gen whatever before them, right? As Gen X, we are actually not really good in producing kids. All right. And then millennials are after us, right? They're not even any good either. All right. They're probably worse than us. All right. And then the generation after them, I think kids who were born in the 1990s, I think they are also worse, right? So then, if these kids who are born in the 2000s, right, unless they say that, oh, holy shit, well, we got to do something, or not that they're going to take the whole responsibility on their shoulders, unless something shifts, right, something really like changes, where we say, oh, you know what, we realize, I mean, I'm speaking for them, right? They say, oh, you know what, yeah, you know what, we see that these older people, older than us, who we see they're miserable, that didn't have any good relationships, or they were not very lucky enough to have a relationship, or maybe whatever the fuck happened, they never had any kids, and now I think we have to learn from their mistakes, and then we want to have kids because I think kids are fun and blah blah blah, right? Uh, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because also a lot of money. It's a lot of money, commitment, and this and that, right? And then the values and different sort of like fucking priorities in life and this and that, right? I mean, I understand it's not an easy thing to say. It's not as simple as I make it sound, but I'll just give you my own perspective in life, is just that, I probably just wasted a lot of time in New York. New York is not a place where you become serious, but it was also, I mean, New York is also like a crucible, I'm talking about back in the days when I was in my 30s, obviously, I tried to have a serious relationship with someone, and New York is not it's not a place where you can actually find someone easily, and then obviously, missed opportunities, missed connections, blah blah blah, right? All that jazz, and then And I'm also sort of like sometimes living, a person who lives in his own in his own skin, and many of you out there feel the same probably, right? And then comes to my 40s, and then really nothing happens. And then, I mean, I'm not the only one. I'm speaking for at least my own gender, in my own like genre of the age group, guys in my own age group, more or less, right? And that I think that and every one of us have tried. Maybe some of us, maybe some of us, we really don't want to have kids. But I think I realized that I did want to have a kid, but then why didn't I work for that? I mean, now I have a caring and beautiful and loving wife. It came for me, or it came to me kind of late in my game. We do want to have a kid, obviously, at least one. Let's see, right? But yeah, it's a little too late for me, but it's okay. I mean, mm, mm, mm. It's like Western world is free, and it's full of freedom and this and that. But I think our like animal instincts, I'm not talking about the animal instinct, the movie, remember? No, I'm not talking about it, but our primal nature, somehow we have suppressed that, we have suppressed our primal nature, which is what we are born with. Everything else is just a learned behavior in a society, and we can't just suppress that, within like few decades of our, not evolution, but like our, progress in technology, science, and, change in society and our own, like, freedom. I do whatever the fuck I want to do. I don't want to have kids or whatever, right? But then the biology is still strong because we are biological beings. We are biological machines. So somehow this whole like the 60s, the hippie moment, and the LSD and all that, and the whole culture shift up and even up until this day, somehow, yeah, it has made us free and think free and this and that. Maybe we don't have a lot of wars, although we do have wars, and you know, but but it also has some like reckoning, sort of like uh, what do you call impact, consequences. I believe, I feel, not I believe, I feel, and this is one of them: population decline, where we just forgot who we were, like primal, right? Oh yeah, you could say, oh, that's your individualistic notion, sir, but it's not individualistic. It has become some sort of a whole like a societal phenomenon, you know. And I understand that, you know, it's not easy to find someone who you actually want to be with for some time, and then you feel comfortable with them to have a child, and etc., etc., right? But then in this whole like notion of like this idealistic, you know, sort of like utopic like mindset we somehow have created in our own, worlds, individuals worlds, that, oh, I want to have this, I want to see somebody in this shape, in this whatever the fuck. She has to be this, he has to be like that, and then, and then maybe I'll consider, we have to be together for whatever the fuck years, right? However many years, and then if that doesn't happen, I forget it. I'm just going to live my own life, and I don't want to have any kids, or. And some people I understand, they don't want to have any kids. But this whole notion, I think, of like liberalism and this and that has this consequence. This is one of the consequences, I think. And I'm not negating the fact that the Western world has given us these opportunities to live a free and less oppressed sort of individualistic life, right? But then it's just too individualistic, and I think it has gone too far to the whatever the fuck spectrum of the societal setup in a given time on this planet for humans, right? Maybe there will be a shift, but the other problem is that because of the technology and now we have all these gadgets and everything. Uh, Sorry, I dropped my phone, but maybe it's even going to get worse. I mean, look at Japan. Fucking population decline there is the worst. And I'm not trying to act like a messiah, trying to save the fucking humans from some future extinction, right? But uh, but I'm just saying, given my own life and what happened to me, and are we going to be just robotic with less humans on this planet? Maybe. Well, maybe if that's the what do you call the future, then are we ready for that? I mean, we are going towards that. It's not that we're ready. We are going towards it. I won't be here in 100 years. No, I won't be here even in 50 years. But I'm just saying that whoever is going to listen to my podcast 50 years from now, I have a fucking idea. You think YouTube would even exist 50 years from now? It's going to be something else. I have no fucking idea, right? Nobody's going to watch my fucking podcast 50 years from now, right? Unless it becomes a post-apocalyptic and they find my channel only. Everything else was deleted for some fucking reason. Right? But uh, that's what's coming for us humans. All right. So the asteroid strike won't, destroy us or our civilization just like it did 66 million years ago to the dinosaurs. But this is what it may, right? Out of our own making, are the society going that fucking direction? Um, All right, everyone. So I guess I beat this topic to death for some fucking reason. I didn't want to talk about this, but I guess I did. All right. So the other fascinating thing that I came across listening to one of my favorite podcasts, obviously, right? The greatest podcast on this fucking planet, Joe Rogan. He had this guest, Sebastian Younger. You guys should actually listen to that podcast a few days ago, and they were talking about how he went through some near-death experience with some fissure in one of his arteries, and you guys should listen to it yourself. But to cut to the chase, the fascinating part was that where he said that he thought he almost died, and he saw his dead father, and he was basically trying to tell him, hey, listen, I'm here for you. I will, come with me and this and that, right? And I've heard these stories a lot, I think, from some people, from my own like extended family and this and that, right? And so Rogan and him, obviously, they were talking about, okay, so what is this? What is this whole? If that's the case, and actually the guest has written, I think, a recent book is called the explanation. I think his near-death experience. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just too lazy to look it up. But he has actually written something based on this experience. I mean, obviously he has written a whole book, but uh, I think the premise of the book is the afterlife, right? The case for the afterlife or something like that. Sebastian Younger. Sebastian Younger. You can look it up. But um, and so when people go through something like this, right, then you question, okay, so what does that mean? I mean, is there some sort of an afterlife after like we die? I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't want to sound like some person who's going to like discuss if there is or if there isn't, but because I have no freaking idea, all right? But given these accounts that, you know how some people say, people who actually have gone through like something like Sebastian went through, right? Where they actually almost died, but then they really didn't die. They came back, right? Many of them actually see what they call the white light, whatever it is, those angels, whatever it is, right? But many of the others also see their dead relatives, and it's fascinating. So what does that mean? I mean that the dead relatives are somehow alive in some other fucking realm. So that then gives this possibility of an afterlife, right? In some form, and that's what they were discussing, and I was fascinated. Now, here's okay, so my take on that one is that again, I have no freaking idea. All right. I'm not gonna just believe, and especially younger, I think he's an agnostic or atheist, right? I'm not going to just believe or say that, oh, you know what, there's some sort of an afterlife, by the way, so well, congratulations, humans, we just found out that there is some sort of an afterlife, whether heaven or hell or in between, right? I'm not going to say that, but if that's okay, so my take on that one is that if that's the case, that somehow when our body ceases to exist and something else happens where our consciousness in some other form or whatever, not in this like bodily form, right? Obviously, right? Turn like um, catapults into some other sort of realm or reality or whatever conscious, whatever the fuck you call it, right? I mean, if you have taken a psychedelic, then it gives you some sort of a notion of that. But that's all. I think that's different. But this whole idea, for me, seems like if that's the case, that there is some sort of existence after our physical death, then I'm going to say that then this whole fucking reality is a simulation. All right. Not like the simulation from the Matrix, but this is then it is a simulation, which is basically is being run by some sort of a higher entity or some sort of a higher sort of being, some sort of higher like a whoever, whatever, the universe, whatever the fuck you call it, right? Or maybe some advanced civilization has found out that that could actually create a whole universe. And then maybe they're the ones who are running this fucking simulation, right? So then the whole simulation theory that this is just a simulation means that this is one reality, and then through DMT pumping into our brains at the advent of the death, then we are catapulted into another reality. We go through that tunnel, whatever the fuck you call it, right? Or the black hole and whatever, you come out at the other side of the black hole, then it's different, whatever, right? Reality or realm or dimensions or whatever, existence, right? Then it's a simulation. Then the fucking whole world is a simulation. So what does it mean? You just give up on this fucking reality? No. Uh, isn't that sort of like fucking sad that this is, if that's the case, there's some actually some other entities running this whole thing and it's a simulation? I don't know. So that's my take on that one. But listen to that podcast. They were talking. I mean, it's a very interesting conversation. They didn't say that. I mean, this is my own conclusion, not conclusion. My own like hypothesis, right? I mean, if that's the case, then then this might very well be a simulation. All right. Um, who the fuck knows? All right. Who the fuck knows what this whole reality is? All right. Yeah, we have the brain, our head with our senses, you know, we have the vision, we can see things, we can hear things and smell and this and that, right? Because of our evolution of our biology, and we are born on this planet, and this is how we were evolved. We have evolved, right? And we are on this goddamn rock, and that actually revolves around another goddamn rock called sun, you know. And then we are part of apparently another fucking gazillion of these other solar systems, right? That's all we know for now. Well, then where does this all come from, and the whole thing, right? So there are still questions which are not answered. It's too early for us to actually have any answers, and that actually is also uncertain. I'm not saying uncertain. We know that reality, right? Or this reality, solar system, beyond planets, other planets, what are possible planets with life, right? Possibility of life and advanced life. Who the fuck knows, right? You can't get there, and that's the other fucking problem, right? And these scientists and astrophysicists are having these telescopes, which I make fun of them. And when I see some news that, oh, we just discovered another fucking planet, possibility of life a gazillion miles away, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, you're telling me you discovered, okay, then what? You can't get there. You can't get there in a million years. What's the fucking point, right? Is that like waste of my time, your tax dollars, if it's NASA, right? So fascinating, right? And I'm not saying that people who are actually uh, are aware of these things. Not, no, I'm not saying that people are aware of this, but people who have gone through something like this, NDEs, near-death experiences, um, uh, and some of those are obviously like bullshit, total fucking bullshit. Those experiences. They say, oh, I saw the light, the white light, and then the angels, and then the heaven, and whatever, the Christ or whoever you believe in. It's like, obviously those are just like those. I won't believe those, all right? But I'll believe somebody says, hey, listen, I saw my dead grandfather. He was saying, hey, come here. If you're gonna go away, then come here. I'll show you, because I've been there before, right? I've been there. I've been gone through that before you. That's what they're saying, right? They're basically taking your hand. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not promoting death here. All right. I'm just saying. All right. If that's the case, my take on this is a fucking simulation. All right. The whole thing is a simulation. There you go. Congratulations again, humans. This whole universe is a fucking simulation. All right. Then what's the reality? Maybe there's no reality. Maybe this is just different realities, different realms, parallel universes. All right. So interesting, right? Um, I hope you all are in good spirits and good health and everything. I'm not saying that um, if we realize after we go through something an NDE experience, at the same time, I'm also not negating the fact that every one of us have to go through that at some point in our fucking lives, all right? Uh, Nobody stays here forever, all right? Our physical, whatever, self, all right? Uh, so, yeah, maybe there's the whale I talked about last time in my podcast, right? There's the fucking well, maybe death is the fucking whale between this reality and some other fucking reality. If that's the case, then it's just a fucking simulation, you know? I'm just gonna act like or sound like a fucking reductionist, you know, uh, like nuts and bolts, uh, analytical, my own philosophy, not philosophy. I'm just gonna say nuts and bolts. Answer to that is, then this whole fucking thing is a simulation. That's it. All right. Now your deeds and your whatever you're doing here now, are they going to have an effect on where you're going to be in the next fucking round? I have no fucking idea. All right. Then you should read the fucking what is that book? The Dead of the Egyptian, Dead of Book of the Dead. What the fuck is? No, I won't read that. Because that's just like okay. The other day, like I got on my desktop here, right? And for some reason I told my wife, listen, I'm gonna fly. I don't know. I'm gonna run my flight simulator. I did that, and then I'm like, and I came across like fucking Egyptian pyramids, right? I'm like, hold on a second, let me just fly a plane over the fucking pyramids to see what they are, right? And obviously, flight simulator has like some amazing graphics and all that, right? So the pyramids are basically what they are in the flight simulator, right? Actual pyramids, and then you can see the fucking what is it? The lion head, whatever the fuck it is, right? Half human, half lion, right? And then you see around there are other like these structures, right? And I'm flying by, right, in my simulator, I'm flying by, coming back, flying by, trying to figure out what this whole thing was, what the fuck they were trying to do with it, you know? Then I realized, oh shit, it's a huge fucking graveyard. It's a huge graveyard that these pharaohs were so fascinated by death. That's what it is. It's like, see, I gave you guys more information than necessary on this podcast. So basically, Egyptian pyramids are nothing but a side of fucking graveyards of these fucking pharaohs. All right, that's it. That's it, because they were just fascinated, you know? And so they built these fucking huge graveyards, starting with the fucking pyramids, and then they have the small ones, and all those are the fucking graves of the pharaohs and their fucking imbecile, inbred, whatever the fuck, okay? And yeah, that's a great sight and this and that, and people are fascinated that, oh, maybe they are like the fucking alien, whatever, who came here to build them. No, 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 no. They are just the pharaoh's graveyards. That's a whole big graveyard. That's what it is. All right, everyone. With that said, okay, sorry, I had to just close my podcast on that. Or trying Egyptian pyramids, the biggest graveyard on fucking earth, built by the pharaohs. Yeah, maybe that's what it was, right? Yeah, I mean, like 6,000 years ago. You think these fucking humans had any fucking clue about like anything other than like fascinated by death? All right. Obviously, that's what they were gonna build, right? Nothing like more like fucking what do you call like nothing more practical to use the resources, right? I don't fucking idea. All right. It's like I'm exhuming all those fucking like pharaohs' tombs, right, from the fucking pyramids. Guess what? I'm gonna see all of them like in my fucking dreams tonight. All right, they're gonna come in my fucking dreams. You're gonna exhume our fucking pyramids, huh? Well, that's the whole fucking, premise of those pyramids. All right. Uh, and I'm not gonna get into like how they were built. I don't give a fuck how they were built. They were built by the human, whoever human slaves they were using, the pharaohs. All right, over the course of fucking hundreds of years. All right, everyone. With that note, I hope you all are having a great start of the week. I am going to close my podcast, and I'll see you all next weekend on Monday.